Hey guys, Dr. Cole here doing another video for you on one of my favorite topics to discuss and something that's gained a lot of popularity across the internet over the past year or so. And that's the topic of fasting, or more specifically today, intermittent fasting. Now look, I already know what you're thinking because I hear this from so many patients. Dr. Cole, I can't fast because I have low blood sugar levels. Or Dr. Cole, my doctor's already told me that 5 to 6 small meals per day are better for my metabolism and for weight loss. And so, look, that's why we're doing this video today, to break through some of the clutter and some of the myths that are out there regarding fasting, and just really show you how it's one of the most beneficial tools to keep in your arsenal to help you reach your health goals. So, look, first of all, let's talk about anti-aging and the myths of the 5 to 6 small meals per day. We're not going to get super technical here, but I want you to understand that every cell in your body, inside of the nucleus, there are your chromosomes that hold all your DNA material, everything that makes you, all of your genetic material. And at the end of our chromosomes, we have these things called telomeres. They're like the plastic ends at the end of shoelaces. They start out at our longest when we're first born, and throughout life, they get shorter and shorter as we age. Now look, we all know people that seem like they're aging really gracefully. They look the same in their 50s as they did when they were in their 30s. And those are people that their telomeres are getting shorter, but at an extremely slow rate. So they're aging really well. On the flip side of that, we probably know some people too who look like they're not probably aging as well. They're aging a lot more rapidly. And in that case, it means that their telomeres are degrading really quickly. Your telomeres at the end of your chromosomes, they deal with protecting the integrity of your DNA. So if your telomeres are getting shorter, your DNA is degrading faster. If your telomeres remain long, it protects the integrity of your DNA and you age better. They're finding out that through intermittent fasting, specifically block fasting and through intermittent fasting, that it goes a long way towards improving telomere length and dramatically slowing down how fast we age. It slows down the aging process. It reverses that. The flip side of this is the idea of 5 to 6 small meals per day. And let me break down how this is really harmful to the aging process and ultimately won't help you reach your weight loss goals too. If we're always eating, then your pancreas is always working to release digestive enzymes. And one of the things that gets released to take the food out of the bloodstream and into your cells is a hormone called insulin. Now, insulin, we typically think of that as only a diabetic's problem, but all of us release it daily. And the more often we're eating, the more often your pancreas is releasing insulin. Insulin is our strongest aging hormone, meaning in the presence of constant insulin, we're going to age faster. It's going to age you more rapidly in the case of high insulin levels. Think about most diabetics. They typically tend to age pretty poorly because of the high levels of sugar, which is inflammatory, and also because of the constant production and release of insulin. The other thing about insulin and how it's going to actually negate your weight loss goals from the 5 to 6 meals per day, insulin is our body's strongest fat storing hormone. So there's nothing that'll put weight on your body faster than the constant release of insulin. So should we be eating foods that release less insulin, like vegetables? Of course we should, and get away from the sugar and the refined carbs. But the idea that we should always be eating food is still going to keep insulin being released to some degree every single meal that we're eating. So the best way for anti-aging to keep the insulin levels low is to go through this process called intermittent fasting. Now look, intermittent fasting is just simply the idea of intentionally restricting our calories or our eating window over a short period of time. A lot of studies out there will say that an 8-hour eating window is a good starting point. And that means that you would take every single day, you would take 8 hours and eat all your food within that window and allow your body to rest and digest for the other 16 hours. So you're eating for 1/3 of the day, you're resting your body for 2/3 of the day. That's a great starting point. And once you become efficient with that, you can even tighten that eating window up even more. I often will do 4 to 6 hours of an eating window per day. And for many of my days here, I wake up and I come to the office and I see my morning patients. My first meal of the day is not often until around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'll eat from 1 or 2 till around 6, 7, sometimes 8 o'clock at night. So that brings me to another really important point. And not any 8 hours is perfect for an eating window. Like you would never want to pick between the hours of midnight and 8 a.m. to have that be your eating window. Your body is designed to most efficiently eat food during certain parts of the day and to heal and rest and digest during certain parts of the day. So what I have a lot of my clients do, and what I would encourage you to try as well, is when we wake up, just prolonging our breakfast. That word breakfast literally means break the fast, break the nighttime fast of when you were not eating while you were sleeping. If you wake up and don't eat right away, but push that back, and for a lot of my patients, I say around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, lunchtime if you can, push that first meal back. It keeps you more hormone optimized. It keeps you actually in a sharper mental state too, better cognitive performance when we wake up and we don't eat right away too. So that's my encouragement. If you're looking to get into intermittent fasting, pick around 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., maybe 10 to 6, 12 to 8, anywhere in that time frame is the best time to intermittent fast. And the more often you do this, you will become very efficient with your calories too. So look, if you're one of those patients that I said in the beginning is afraid of the low blood sugar levels, then you might start with a 10-hour eating window or even a 12-hour eating window if you're already outside of that. And the more efficient you get, you can tighten that window up as you begin to go. But I've had patients who used to eat like at 6 or 7 in the morning who were scared to death to do intermittent fasting. Now they tell me, Dr. Cool, I can't believe I'm a person who wakes up and I don't eat till around 11 or 12. And the amazing benefit of that is that your body does adjust. It becomes more efficient with the calories you give it. If you constantly need to eat, or you feel drained, or you feel wiped out, your body's not efficient. Your metabolism is not efficient, and you need to constantly be putting more and more fuel into your body. Think about a fireplace versus like one of those fancy fireplace insert stoves. A fireplace by itself, I've had that as a kid, needs wood all the time. You're always feeding it because you're losing so much heat through the chimney, and so it's not very efficient. These nice fireplace inserts that we now have today that I had also later on growing up, man, you put some wood in there and one block of wood, a couple pieces of wood will burn so much longer and produce more heat because they've made these things more efficient. That's what happens to your body when you're in that intermittent fasting state. Beyond just that, beyond metabolism, your brain functions better when you're intermittent fasting too. And that's because when you fast, your body has to still get fuel, so it taps into your body's fat stores. How many of us want that, to wake up leaner in the morning, to be burning body fat as we sleep at night? Well, that really comes from just forcing our body to have to burn our fat because we're not taking in any other sources of fuel. Another thing that's popular on the internet today is the ketogenic diet. And if you've heard of that before, that's like a high-fat, low-carb diet. There are different variations of that I'll take patients through as well. And that's really beneficial because your brain loves to burn ketones as a fuel source. Well, the best way to get into ketosis or to produce those ketones that your brain loves is to fast, because at that point your body has to switch into burning its body fat as a fuel source. And when you burn fat, you're producing ketones. And so for depression, anxiety, cognitive and brain fog issues, even things like dementia and Alzheimer's, they're finding out that eating a high-fat diet is amazing for helping your body get into ketosis and for better brain health. I also use this for patients that have digestive issues. If you're watching this and you have any bloating or any constipation, IBS, diarrhea type issues, leaky gut type things, autoimmune conditions, there is not much better you can do to improve your health and to improve those conditions than to just stop the intake of food. Yes, it's good to eat healthy food, but if you're eating all day long, 3, 4, 5 meals a day, snacks in between, then your body's always working to break down that food. Your digestive system never gets to rest. Think about it like a busy factory where there's conveyor belts and people running here and there. That's what our digestive system is. And when it's working, it's always breaking down food and assimilating these nutrients to all the cells in your body. It never gets a chance to shut off and just heal itself. When you intentionally give your body only a certain window of time to eat and then rest in between, or if you want to get really crazy, do some block fasting a couple of days at a time on water or bone broth. That stopping of the factory, the stopping of the intake of food, allows your body to redirect that energy into healing and repair. And it's so amazing for people that have digestive issues or autoimmune issues to go through fasting because of what it does for their body. A couple other notes here I wrote down. Let's talk about this here. We said most people will start within 8 hours of intermittent fasting, meaning you eat your food within an 8-hour window, 16 hours of rest and digest. You're fasting for 16 hours. That's a great start. When you tighten that up and we can get to about 18 hours of fasting, most experts agree, most studies suggest that about the 18-hour fasting mark is where a lot of the real benefits of fasting begin. So let's talk about 3 things here: hormone optimization, autolysis, and autophagy. The first thing about the hormone optimization is when you're fasting, and this can be intermittent fasting where you're eating 6 hours and resting for 18 hours a day, or let's say you do a block fast, you're going 1 or 2 days just with no food altogether. At that point, once we reach the point of 18 hours, your body becomes extremely hormone optimized, meaning from a fat burning standpoint, for guys, it's about 2,000%. Your growth hormone and your testosterone, your fat burning hormones go up over 2,000% at about the 18-hour mark. And for women, it's about 12 to 1,500%. So you're in a much heightened state of fat burning and hormone optimization. How this makes your body healthier and how it leaves you in a healthier cellular state is also at around the 18-20 hour mark. Your body goes into autolysis and autophagy. And what that means, again, without getting too scientific, every cell in your body is pre-programmed to live a certain amount of time, replicate itself, and then die. Well, when we're aging poorly, when we're eating poorly, when there's inflammation, that process doesn't always happen the way it's supposed to. And we can start getting a lot of cellular congestion, a lot of inflammation in our bodies, a lot of cells that are sticking around too long and not breaking down, even cancerous cells to a low degree, which almost every person has to some small degree. Well, your body at the fasting mark of about 18 to 20 hours goes into autolysis and autophagy, meaning it's the pre-programmed breakdown of those older cells and the recycling of old material or old cellular material that's not useful anymore. So not just burning up fat, but your body eats up old tissue, old cells, parts that aren't working anymore, and it leaves you in a healthier cellular state whenever you're done with your fast. Even for like the topic of stem cells, which has become such a big thing the past year with regenerative medicine and people getting stem cells for the elbows and the knees and the shoulders. You know, these things can be expensive. $5,000 per injection for a stem cell injection, when they say that fasting for 3 days at a time. And that's a little extreme for some of you watching this, so you have to work up to that point. But doing a 3-day water or bone broth fast, they say, is like flipping the regenerative switch on your stem cells. And your body makes more beneficial stem cells. You produce more stem cells that your body can use for healing and repair and for tissue repair. So it's just an amazing way to put your body through an anti-aging process to improve brain function, heal the gut, make your body more hormone optimized, and it's something that the more often you do it, the easier it gets too. When I tell you that my first meal around the day is around 12 or 1 o'clock so far, I'm not having to really have a tough, arduous time pushing through that, waiting for my first meal of the day. I often don't even think about it. And I'll often go to the gym first thing in the morning too, and not even eat right after that. I'll go to the gym, come here for a few hours, and then I'll have my first meal of the day. And it does make you a lot more hormone optimized. It helps build better muscle that way too. And it just makes your body go through that anti-aging process of expanding your telomeres and making them not break down quite so fast. Here's the biggest thing, and what we'll end the video with here today. All my videos we talk about reducing what? Reducing cellular inflammation. We say inflammation is the underlying root cause of all chronic disease. Is linked between Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease, dementia, autoimmune conditions, thyroid and hormone problems, you name it. All of these chronic diseases contain inflammation as the underlying root cause. The best thing and the best number one reason to do the intermittent fasting or to try a block fast is because it down regulates that inflammation. Your inflammation levels get lower when you're in a fasting state. So I hope this is beneficial. Start with the intermittent fasting first. We'll do a video on block fasting. I really wouldn't encourage anyone to do that unless you're working with a practitioner who knows what they're doing, or unless you've been doing a couple months of the intermittent fasting at first. But it is a highly, highly valuable tool to help you improve your overall health, lose weight, improve your brain health, gut function, and make your body more hormone optimized. So hey, thank you for watching this video. Like and share this with your friends. So many people need to hear this information, guys. So thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next one.